Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app, O'Connor and Company.
Apparently, they've already come up with the jingle for the new Trump resort at Mar-a-Lago. From the Riviera to the sea, happy hour drinks are free.
Love it.
The jingle for the commercial.
Let's hear it.
It's fun to stay at the G-A-Z-A. It's fun to stay at the G-A-Z-A.
Just make that up.
I'm going to run. No, a listener actually gave me these suggestions. All our good suggestions come from listeners. Reach out to us on social media. Coming up at 8:35, Victoria Coates, who actually takes national security and foreign policy seriously. We will find out what she thinks of Trump's proposal. I'm not saying Trump doesn't take it seriously. I'm saying that I make stupid jokes about it.
I wonder if she'll sing the jingle.
She might. It is fun to stay at the GAZA. We would like to rejuvenate that area, and it would be a beautiful thing. Also a beautiful thing is to talk about your finances, and joining us now is our favorite financial guru. You love him. You know him. You hear his weekend show here. It's very popular. The website is theretirementkey.com. It's Abe Abich. Hey, Abe. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Well, listen, because you're here in this area, of course, you've got a certain specialty. You can handle everybody. You handle my retirement, of course, and you also handle a lot of federal employees, former federal employees, or employees who are sort of figuring out what their next steps are. So we thought of you when we saw this idea of a buyout for some federal employees that's being offered by the Trump administration. Can you give us the details and whether this is actually a good plan or not?
Yeah, Larry. So this is basically a severance package offered to about 2 million federal employees. And the Trump administration has offered it to federal workers who voluntarily resign and accept the package, equal to 8 months of salary and benefits. The whole purpose of the program is to reduce the federal workforce. The White House believes that about 200,000 of these employees will accept the buyout. However, as of yesterday, according to Reuters, only 20,000 have accepted the offer. Now, federal employees that have been made this offer do have until tomorrow. So even in our office, we've had handfuls of people reach out to really confirm that this decision is right for them or not. The program's available to most full-time federal employees, but excluding military, U.S. Postal Service employees, those in immigration and national security roles. And resigning employees that accept the offer will be paid on administrative leave with reduced or eliminated duties until September 30th, and they basically don't have to work, and they'll get 8 months of pay. The period started last Tuesday, and these employees have to make a decision by tomorrow, a 9-day notice, which can be life-changing for a lot of people. So it's a big deal.
Well, and it's a big deal also if you're near retirement. What are the downsides or risks of taking this offer if you're near retirement?
Yeah, there are a lot of things you have to consider, Julie. I mean, basically, if you were down to a year or less of work and you were planning on retiring in a year or less, we've had a bunch of clients call in that were planning on retiring at the end of this year anyways, and then they've been offered this buyout. It's like, well, do I really need to work? Well, probably not. But for those of you that are listening that may, have planned to continue to work for the federal government and have been offered this buyout, plan to continue to work for 2, 3, 4, 5 more years, that can make a significant difference in pension, in TSP, and benefits. That's something you need to very seriously consider. Maybe some are listening right now that have been offered this buyout that were planning on going to work in the private workforce, that were planning on retiring from the federal government anyways in the next year or two. That could be something to really consider. But you want to consider the pension. The pension is going to be reduced. I mean, the longer you work, the bigger it is. The other way around, the least amount of time you work, you need to factor in health care and if you're going to be covered. Just so many things to really consider before making this decision.
Are there any hidden tax ramifications for this, Abe? Will your income be taxed as if you had been working? Should they know about that?
Well, when I think of taxes, I'm thinking about the TSP here. In terms of the pension and everything, they'll just continue to get their pay each every 2 weeks, as they would if they were continuing to work, whether remote or going into the office. But then you start thinking about other things, right? Like the TSP, and most federal employees have the TSP. So if you're going to retire early and you're going to stop contributing to your TSP maybe for the next several years, how is that going to affect your TSP balance? Are you going to hit your retirement goals? Are you going to have to pull from your TSP to make ends meet? Obviously, if you're pulling money from a TSP or any 401k type of plan, then any money you take out is obviously taxed at ordinary income. So that's what I think of when I think of taxes. But you need to know the rules to the game, withdrawal penalties, tax implications for all of this stuff.
Abe, I hate to do this to you and throw this at you, but because the deadline is looming. But if people have questions, obviously this is very personal, and everybody's situation is different. Are you taking calls, like sort of cold calls now, from people who are not currently your clients to just sort of bounce this off of you, and maybe your team can give them a thumbnail, analysis? What if people need advice? What can you do for them?
Well, we can try, but it's going to be a little difficult because really you need to know about the person's entire situation before making a recommendation.
Sure.
In addition, we are down to the wire here with less than 24 hours really for these federal employees to give their departments the decision. We can try, but we're also fielding a lot of calls here internally with Abich clients and trying to get back to them with some clarity as well. But we can try if anyone calls in. Mm-hmm. All
right. Thanks, Abe. These are already busy times for you, and then this gets thrown in the loop. But I love you guys so much. You're so well equipped to handle these things and give really good advice to your clients. That's why we have such a good relationship. Thank you, Abe, for giving us your expertise today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on.